Hello everyone, this video is about Self-Paced Online Module Set C, Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. This is a question solving session. In this session, we will be solving questions from ICAI study material. I will be explaining the concepts also wherever necessary. First of all, we can solve the questions in chapter Fundamentals of Arbitration. We can read the first question. Satish Cake Shop was a leading cake shop for cakes and pastries. Manish is a regular customer and always orders his requirement on WhatsApp. One day he orders 100 cakes again on WhatsApp, but this time he added a clause. Any disputes regarding quality shall be referred to a sole arbitrator to be mutually appointed by the both parties and shall be governed by the Arbitration Act. Please place your order if the above terms and conditions are agreeable to you. Satish Cake Shop supplied the order. Whether there is any arbitration agreement or not, that is they are asking. The section related to arbitration agreement is section number 7. Here the mandatory condition is the arbitration agreement should be in writing. In writing they are covering three things. First one is a document which is signed by the parties. Second one is a communication through electronic means. Whether it is WhatsApp or email or everything which comes to electronic means, that communication will also be covered under writing. So here in WhatsApp the arbitration clause is added, so it is considered as writing. Now the validity is being questioned. So the conditions are, first thing it should be in writing. Here we concluded that the agreement is in writing. Second one is that there should be consent. Both the parties should be consenting to the arbitration. Then only it is an arbitration agreement. Here there is an implied condition that if you are agreeing, then only you have to supply. So Satish Cake Shop supplied the order. So what this is meaning, Satish Cake Shop agreed to the arbitration agreement. So writing is also there, consent is also there. So, yes, mentioning on WhatsApp is considered as an arbitration agreement. This is the answer. Now let us read the second question. Hotel Crimson Palace was entered into a contract with Messrs. Jain Lift Maintenance Services for annual maintenance of lift for 1 year. An arbitration clause regarding the reference of dispute to arbitration was also added in the contract. In the original contract, we have an arbitration clause. After the expiry of period, service agreement was further renewed, but this time arbitration clause was not separately added. Here we have to understand carefully. When the first time the contract was done, there was the contract and the arbitration clause was separately added. But after the expiry, you are renewing the main contract. But this time there is no arbitration clause. So here what they are asking is that whether the arbitration agreement is continued or not. The first contract contained the arbitration clause. After the expiry, you renewed the original contract alone. The arbitration clause you did not add separately. So once the arbitration clause is not added separately, then it is not considered as an arbitration agreement. So here the answer will be no, the arbitration agreement ends with the end of the original agreement. Only if you add the clause separately again, the arbitration agreement will be valid. Now we can read the third question. A, B and C were partners in a partnership firm. A was interested to retire from the firm. He informed the firm about the retirement and on the date of retirement, his share in firm's capital, including accumulated profits, was Rs 4 lakh. A has filed the claim of his share to the firm. Whether filing claim is dispute among the partners. Just because filing claim, it will not amount to a dispute. The other partners and the firm did not even reply whether they will pay the 4 lakh or not. So this is not an indication of a dispute. Here the answer would be no, mere filing of claim cannot be considered as dispute. The next question is, in a dispute between M and N, Z was appointed as the arbitrator. Now Z is the arbitrator. On the matter of dispute, Z consulted with one of his clients, but this was unknown to the parties, where neither informed them even after. M and N informed the court about this misconduct. Z argued that he has done it for the purpose of resolution of the dispute only. Find the correct option. Z is the arbitrator. He has consulted a client for resolving the dispute, but he did not inform it to the parties to the arbitration. Whether this is correct or not, that they are asking. Here Z is guilty of misconduct. Whatever the investigation procedure you are doing, you should make it available and you should inform it to both the parties. So this is a misconduct of the arbitrator. The next question is, a dispute arises from a contract for the supply of electronic components where Alpha Electronics claims that the delivered components do not meet the specification, leading to losses. Beta argues that components meet the requirements and any issues are due to mishandling during the installation. Contract includes an arbitration clause that it shall be resolved through arbitration, but it does not specify the place of arbitration. Both parties have submitted evidence supporting their claims and there is no agreement on the preferred place for arbitration. When deciding the place for domestic arbitration, what the arbitrator should consider, how the arbitrator should decide the place of arbitration, that only they are asking. Here, since there is no prior agreement, the arbitrator should consider the evidence, witness and the proximity of the location for deciding the place of arbitration. He should not decide it as per the convenience of the arbitrator or preference of the party. Next, we are going to see the MCQs of the chapter 3, Enforcement of Certain Foreign Awards. Now let's read the first question. Mr. Rahul, an entrepreneur, entered into a business partnership with Miss Sania to develop a market of new line of eco-friendly products. As the venture progressed, disagreements arose regarding the profit distribution. In an attempt to resolve the dispute, both parties agreed for ad hoc arbitration. What is the meaning of ad hoc arbitration? There is no institution. All the work is done by the arbitration parties only. Facilitating the communication, coordination, everything is done by the parties. There is no institution. Without involving any institutional rules, proceedings took place with the ad hoc arbitration agreement and were not subject to any institutional rules. What is the true about ad hoc arbitration? They are asking what is the true statement. It always involves a 3-member. No. Procedural rules are predetermined. No. It is more cost effective. Institution arbitration, it requires fees. We have to pay fees to the arbitral institution. Here we need not pay the fees, so it is cost effective. Let's read the next question. Here there was a dispute between two persons. Although the parties never expressed their intention to choose Manchester as the seat, but in the absence of any agreement, Manchester was chosen as the seat by the arbitrator as the place of arbitration. Except for being the place of arbitration, Manchester had no significant connection with the contract or the parties. The award decided in this case should be considered as. Here there are 4 options. Definitely interim award is not the answer. For the award to be an international award, any one of the parties should be from outside India. Here, they have not given that any of the parties outside India, so it cannot be an international award. We have 2 options, whether it is a foreign award or a domestic award. For a foreign award, what should be there? The seat should be outside India. Foreign law should be applicable. And the outside country, Geneva Convention or the New York Convention should apply. Here, they are telling that no significant connection is there for Manchester. So, we cannot assume that Manchester law will be applied because there is no connection for Manchester place. So, this is not a foreign award. So, the only option remaining is domestic award. So, this should be considered as a domestic award. For understanding the concept of different types of awards, I have uploaded a video for important case laws and concepts. In that video, I have covered all the confusing concepts like interim measures, when it will be applicable, when it will be not applicable, part 1 where it is applicable, what are the special sections where even outside in the arbitration part 1 is applicable, like that confusing concepts, everything I have covered in a single video along with practical examples of case laws. You can refer to that video for getting a deeper understanding of these terms. Let's read the next question. A dispute arose between Mrs. Goel Classes and CA Sumit Jain regarding the payment of professional fees. The CA filed the case to the local court. Goel Glasses and Company requested the court to refer the case to arbitration. Here we have 4 options. Judicial authority cannot refer the case. Judicial authority has always referred to the case to arbitration. The third option is judicial authority may refer to arbitration at the request of one of the parties only after assuring that the arbitration agreement is valid, operative and capable of being performed. Here this we saw in part 1 arbitration of the Arbitration Act. Here the judicial authority can refer to arbitration only if the first argument made by the party who not goes to court. The first argument should be to refer to arbitration and there should be an arbitration agreement. It should be valid, operative, capable of being performed. Only then we can refer the parties to arbitration. So here option C is the answer. Let's read the 4th question. A dispute was referred to arbitration before the commencement of the Arbitration Act and the arbitral proceedings were also commenced before the commencement of this Act. Thus, foreign award was given after the commencement of the Arbitration Act, under which Act the award should be enforced. Here in the law we saw a provision under section 47 below after the section text and explanation a note will be given in the study material. In that what they will be saying is that even if the proceedings for arbitration what do I mean by the proceedings for arbitration? The appointment of arbitrator, starting of the work for arbitration, all the proceedings started before the commencement of this act. The act we are studying, Arbitration Act 1996. Before the Arbitration Act, proceedings started, and the foreign award was given after the starting of this act, after the commencement of the 1996 act. Now, under which act the award should be enforced? The note clearly says that it should be enforced only under the Arbitration Act 1996. You should not go to any other previous award, any other previous law. Only thing you should check is that whether the foreign award was given after the commencement of the act. If the award is given after the commencement of the act, you should enforce it only under this act. Here the answer would be Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1986. The next question is, Sahil entered into a contract with Mr. Lalit to give his hotel on lease for 5 years at an annual rent of 1 crore on the condition that if a gamble house is run, the rent will increase to 1 crore 25 lakhs. Contract also had an arbitration clause. Initially, no gambling house was run, but Mr. Lalit was allowed the gamble only for 2 days on the occasion of New Year. A dispute arose regarding the amount of rent and was referred to arbitration. There was a dispute and it was referred to arbitration. The dispute was resolved and submitted to the court for enforcement. They decided and an award was given. For enforcing that award, they are coming to the court. Here, running a gambling house is an illegal activity. If you do not know, you can get aware of it. It is also given in the options. Gambling house is illegal. So we can see the options. Since the gambling house is illegal, for an illegal relationship or illegal contract, you cannot get the enforcement of foreign award. So, as the contract regarding the gambling house is illegal, award cannot be enforceable. This is the answer here. For an illegal contract, you cannot get an arbitral award enforced. Next, we are going to see the questions regarding the chapter of conciliation in the ICAI study material. Now, let's see the first question. S&N Company is regularly getting supplies from R&N Company at a particular rate. After a change in the management, R&N Company increased the price of supply. S&N Company requested not to increase the price as it will result in a big loss in the peak season, but R&N Company refused to do it. S&N Company requested R&N Company to refer to conciliation. Here we have to find an answer. Matter may be referred to conciliation even if R&N Company does not give consent. Here one major thing we need to see is that conciliation is unlike arbitration. This has to be done by consent of both the parties. In arbitration, they should have consent only at the time of arbitration agreement. Even after the dispute arises, if a party does not have consent, if they have an arbitration agreement, they have to go to compulsorily arbitration. But in conciliation, both the parties must give consent for conciliation. Only then we can move towards the conciliation. Here, one party is not giving consent, they are telling. Then this is a wrong option. We cannot go to conciliation. Matter may be referred to conciliation only if our company gives consent. Only if both the parties gives consent, we can go. Here, R&N Company is giving the consent. S&N Company is starting the conciliation. So, he has already consented to it. He wants to go to conciliation. So, this will be the right answer. Now, here we have to see the next option also. Here, the matter may be referred to conciliation only on the intention of S&N Company and the outcome would be binding. This is obviously a wrong answer, but here I am reading this option to make you know that the binding thing is wrong. The conciliation outcome is not binding. Only when a settlement agreement is signed under conciliation, it is binding. Just the outcome, it is not binding. This is one thing you have to know. Now let's read the second question. Ram and Shyam are partners in a firm. Ram was authorized to purchase the goods while Shyam was responsible for selling the goods in the firm. Dispute arose regarding the selling price. Ram was of the view that the price should be increased. Shyam did not agree for that. Both of them agreed to have the matter conciliated. Now, when the conciliation proceedings will commence, that is what they are asking. Here, we have a provision to send a written invitation. First, the party who wants to start the conciliation has to send a written invitation. Then, the other party who receives the invitation should send a letter that I am accepting to the invitation. I am accepting to the conciliation. Like that, the person should write the letter. Only on that date, the acceptance date, the conciliation will start. Here the answer would be when Shyam accepts in writing the invitation to conciliate. When the accepting letter is given, only then the conciliation proceeding will start. The third question is, a dispute arose between Raman and Saman. Both agreed to have the matter conciliated. Raman suggested the name of Vishnu for the conciliator, but Saman did not agree for the same. Saman suggested that there may be more than one conciliator, which is the incorrect statement. We have to find the wrong statement in the below options. Conciliation proceedings with one conciliator, parties may agree on the name of sole conciliator. This is correct. The one conciliator will be appointed by mutual agreement of the parties. With two conciliator, each party will appoint one conciliator. This is also correct. And in conciliation proceedings with three conciliator, each party may appoint one conciliator and the conciliator will appoint the third conciliator. This is a wrong option. Why? Because the third conciliator will be appointed by the parties only. Only in arbitration, the third arbitrator will be appointed by the earlierly appointed arbitrator. But in conciliation, the third conciliator will also be determined by the parties. So this is a wrong option. Obviously, this will be the right option. In proceedings with three conciliator, each party will appoint one conciliator and the parties will also agree on the third conciliator. This is the correct answer. Now let's read the next question. Which is true regarding the conciliation process described? Conciliation proceedings commence immediately upon receipt of the written invitation. No, acceptance letter should be given. If the other party rejects the invitation, conciliation proceedings may still proceed with the consent of both the parties. No, the invitation should be accepted. Party initiating conciliation must receive a reply within 30 days of sending the invitation or within a specified time frame mentioned in the invitation for conciliation proceedings to commence. We should receive a reply for accepting the conciliation. This is the correct answer. If the initiating party does not receive a reply within the stipulated time, they have the option to proceed with the conciliation proceedings without the consent of the other party. Here you cannot start the conciliation proceedings without the consent of the other party. So this is the wrong option. And one more thing is, this question is based on the commencement of conciliation proceedings. You have to refer to section number 62 if you want to learn more about this topic. I have covered it in my conciliation video. You can go and check out the channel. Let's read the next question. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the role of the conciliator? The conciliator is not authorized to request written statement. No, we saw that the conciliator can demand, first he can demand a brief statement. What are all the problem, like that brief summary he will ask from the parties. And then second, he will ask the facts of the case, position of the party, and about the detailed explanation along with the documentary evidence he will ask. And even after this, if he requires further evidence or further clarification, he can ask additional information from the parties. This is a provision of the conciliation. How should the conciliator get the documents from the parties? This is the provision given in law. Here we have to see which option is according to this provision. And one more thing here is, all the information given to the conciliator should be shared to the other party. All the documents should be given to the other party also, so that he can give an explanation. Here the first option is wrong. Second one is that they are telling that they are not obligated to share it to the other party. Now only we saw that it must be shared with the other party. The conciliator may request to submit a further written statement of their position and supporting evidence, and these submissions should be shared with the other party. This is the correct answer. The last option is wrong because it is prohibiting from requesting additional information. This is a wrong option. Now we have completed the MCQs of all the three chapters. Fundamentals of arbitration, second one is enforcement of foreign awards, third one is conciliation. I have not covered the introduction chapter because it is a very basic chapter and you can give a plain reading, and it has only the introduction chapter has only 5 to 10% weightage. That is not so important. You can read it once if you want. You can easily understand it because it is a very basic chapter. That's all about the ICAI MCQs. Thank you. The introduction chapter has only 5 to 10% weightage. That is not so important. You can read it once if you want. You can easily understand it because it is a very basic chapter. That's all about the ICAI MCQs. Thank you.